That's like, it's not great lighting, but it's not horrible lighting. Also, sorry, I know a lot of you get freaked out by my closet back there, but once again, Aria's in and out of there, so I can't close it. But it is so dark already. It's insane. So I moved my lamp over here because I hate using my ring light. I feel like it like almost makes my videos blurry. So I moved a lamp over here to use for light, and I don't know. I think it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. So anyways, and you know what? Maybe like a little darker, ominous tone fits for this video because we're talking about spooky season book recommendations, everyone. I am in the mood for some spooky books, and I hope you are too if you're here to watch this video. So I got some like dark, this is not just like dark romances. Yes, obviously a lot of these are dark, but they're either like specifically around Halloween or like have like spooky type themes or are paranormal or like monster romances that I think kind of like fit the month of October. So anyways, I don't know, I have quite a few actually, but I have a mix of full-length books and novellas. So depending on if you want something short, sweet, to the point, or some like more like slow burn character growth, I got both for you. So let's go ahead and jump in. What do I have up first? First up, I'm gonna actually talk about a series, and the first book was one of my top reads of 2021. So let's start off with book one, shall we? And that is Her Soul to Take by Harley LaRue, the Souls trilogy. So these are all demon romances, demons and human women, at least for the first two. The third one, our heroine is a witch, and it's a demon with her as well. But this one follows Ray and Leon. So Ray moves back to her like hometown, or this house that her family used to own when she was younger, in this kind of creepy town, to start going to college there. And everyone's kind of reluctant to let her move there, but she's really insistent on it, and she decides to go. And when she shows up, there's some spooky things happening at their school where like some people are getting murdered and such, and you realize that this town has a really dark history and that there are cults, there are sacrifices, there's crazy stuff going on. And Ray is a YouTuber, and she wants to catch some like paranormal activity on camera, not fake stuff, but she's like, you know what, I really need to get my channel poppin', so let me go ahead. And she finds this grimoire, and she accidentally ends up summoning a demon, and that is Leon. And he immediately is like, who is this little girl? Not like a little girl, she's a grown woman, but you know, to him, he's like, who is this that just summoned me? And he is a demon from hell, and he wants her soul. And I'll kind of leave it at that. There's like more in Leon's backstory, more to like this town and such, but it's so good. I love this. Plot and spice are 10 out of 10 for me. And then the second book in it is Her Soul for Revenge. So I think Harley LaRue advertises them as being read one after the other. However, I think Monica like skipped book one and now she's on to book two because she wasn't really like vibing with those characters. So I think you could jump into book two and like kind of get a lay of the land and be okay. But I think it would be a richer experience if you do read at least Her Soul to Take before this one. But you know, I'm not here to tell you what to do. You read whatever you want to read. And this one follows Juniper and Leon, or no, Juniper and Zane, not Leon. And you do see both these characters in book one. If you read it, Zane is another demon, and he has been on the hunt for more souls, and Juniper has a revenge plan. So years ago, she was almost sacrificed by this cult that is in this town. She was able to escape, and now they have targeted someone that she loves, and she wants her revenge on them. And obviously she can't really do it by herself, so then when Zane ends up finding her, they do end up striking a deal together, and she exchanges her soul to him in order for him to help her exact her revenge, and it's their romance. It's, again, so good. Again, plot and spice, 10 out of 10. Absolutely love that series, and I can't wait to read Soul of a Witch. That's the last one, and it just recently released too, so excited to get to that one soon. And you know what, let's just keep going. Let's do my other one by Harley LaRue that I have on here because I love her, and that is the Dare. So this is a novella, and if you have not read this yet, you have to, especially if you just want like some insane spice, okay? So this one follows Jessica and Manson, and yes, it is the prequel to the Us Duet, which I also love, but we're just going to talk about the Dare for this one because you could read this one. Like this was out for like a while before she expanded it into the duet, so you can like read this and feel satisfied with it. So Jessica is very much the popular girl. She was very much the popular girl in high school. Everyone loved her, whatever. And she kind of like looked down on people, kind of bullied people a little bit. And when she is now in college and she shows back up in her hometown at a Halloween party, she ends up running into Manson there. And Manson is one of the guys that she used to bully and pick on, but you learn that there is more to their relationship than that. And Manson sees something in Jessica and he wants to mess with her. He wants to like show her the true like depravity that she has inside of herself. And he's more than willing to do that. So they start a game of truth or dare. And when she ends up losing, she has to do whatever he wants for the night. And it is so good. I think it's only 4 chapters, but like the chapters are like longer. And then Manson does enlist some of his friends at one point, which then again, you see them in the Losers. I love this novella so much. I loved The Losers. I still need to read part 2, but this is just so good and perfect Halloween vibes because they're literally at a Halloween party. And also if you want masked men, there's a masked man in here. So I know what the girlies need. Okay, next up, let's jump into another novella here, which was one of my favorites that I read last October when I was like, again, in my like Halloween spooky time reading. And that is Moonflower by is it Illyria Firethorn? So this one is an MFM friends to lovers romance following Cora, Wilder, and Ezra. So Cora, she used to be best friends with them back in high school and everything, but then she moved off to college and she went farther away for college because she really felt like she needed to get away from everyone. She started to have feelings for her 2 best friends, Wilder and Ezra, and she knew that she couldn't stick around because she didn't want to pick one of them over the other, and also she didn't want to like ruin the friendship. So she went off to college. Now she's been there. I don't remember how long she's been in college. She has a boyfriend and she's kind of like created this new life for herself. However, now one Halloween, she's having a lot of issues with her boyfriend, and like all 3 of them are just sad. They're all sad that their friendship all kind of dissolved when she left. So Wilder and Ezra decide, you know what? We need to go visit Cora and surprise her. And when they do, the 3 of them, after she breaks up with her boyfriend, they all end up going to a Halloween party and having some fun and realizing that the 2 of them were never going to make Cora pick between them. And the 3 of them, you know, spend this Halloween weekend together. It's so good. So good. I love an MFM. This like friends to lovers, like I truly like believed all of their friendships together and like why she kind of cut them out. Like it made sense, you know, it wasn't something stupid where it's like, oh, she like ran away and it's like all been a big misunderstanding. Like no, it genuinely was like she didn't want to ruin their friendship. She didn't want like to make them think that she had to pick between them or whatever. It was just really hot and I really enjoyed it. And that's all that needs to be said. Now let's skip ahead because I do have quite a few novellas. Let's skip ahead to a full-length book. So if you want something a little more meatier, here we go. But not lacking on the spice. And that is A Lady. I always want to say it's The Lady, but it's A Lady of Rooks Manor by Catherine Moon. So this one is a monster reverse harem romance, which like say less. So our heroine Esther in this one, she's a human, but she has just decided that she doesn't want any other job except to just sleep with monsters or just with people in general. And when she gets offered a position at Rooksgrave Manor, which is basically she gets housed there, she's an employee there, but she just gets to have monsters come in and pay for her time. And she can't think of anything better. She is so pumped. She's so jazzed. She's like, the more monsters, the better. And there are some like creepy things though at the manor and some monsters that are up to no good besides Esther's monsters. And it's just a fun time. They go to this one circus that truly is like rent-free in my brain. It was so creative and so cool of like, it's like a live show between monsters and humans. It is wild. Still to this day, I think about that scene all the time. So this is just really fun. I really enjoyed it. So if you give it a go, I hope you enjoy too. Let's pop back into another novella. And that is going to be Offerings by Ashley Mack. So this one follows Colin and Elise, and it is a best friend's brother, tiny age gap. They're like 3 years apart or something. I think she's like a freshman and he's a senior, and it's like a university kind of like hunt type romance. So the older brother Colin, so he is already attending this one university, and Elise starts going there her freshman year, and she has always kind of had a bit of a crush on her friend's older brother, but like he has never really shown much interest in her, whatever, and they've never really made it past like, you know, just like friendship stage. And then when it gets to be like Halloween Eve or something, or it's something like around Halloween, there ends up being a bit of a hunt. And if I'm remembering correctly, I think maybe it's Colin in a frat, and like they do this hunt around campus of like trying to find something or like hide from people, and Elise ends up getting into the mix, and she kind of gets herself in a bit of a dangerous situation. And who swoops in to save her? Colin. and they end up spending this night together on the run from the other people who are trying to catch them. I was trying to remember this one because I got this one and Moonflower confused a little bit, so I'm a little hazy on the whole like details around why they're all running around and everything, but it's not like suspenseful, but it's more just like, you know, it's kind of like a bit of a game of like cat and mouse. So if you like that, I think you'll really like this one. And again, if you just want like a little cute spooky time but also spicy time novella, say less. Should we throw a vampire into the mix? Why not? Sacrifice by Katie Robert, which actually I think now this is traditionally published because there's 3. And I think it's now all 3 of them are published into something called like Court of the Vampire Queen or something. But I read them when they were like individual titles, so you might see it either way. So anyways, this is the first one though that I'm going to talk about. They're all pretty short though, but they're fun. And this one follows Mina, and she is half human, half vampire. And she has grown up just wanting to break free of her father's grasp. He doesn't really let her do anything. He doesn't let her leave. He like is really overbearing on her until he finds that she's useful to him to sell her to another vampire, who this vampire is the last of his line, that's Malachi, and essentially be Malachi's blood bank and like person to breed with and continue his bloodline, and then her father can like further expand his and like have more people under his control basically. And Mina does not want to go to Malachi. She just doesn't want to be under her father's rule anymore and then transfer to this other man who she doesn't even know. She doesn't want to be a part of it, whatever. But she arrives at his house, and slowly but surely they start building a little bit of trust between the other. She realizes that he's not like pure evil like she maybe thought he was. And then also he has 2 friends who start coming around, and his 2 friends are also interested in Mina too. So why not all get together? And it ends up being all of their romances. Again, so fun. And Mina finds that even though she wants her freedom, she also wants these 3 men. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have 2 more novellas and then 2 more books. So let's throw another novella into the mix, and let's do Hollow's Grove by Lee Jacot. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but I think that's how you pronounce it. And this one follows Dorian and Evelyn. Oh, I hope I didn't just wake him up from wherever he is now. But anyway, so this one is another best friends brothers romance. So Evelyn and Dorian, they've never gotten they're not like enemies, but they just always had like a banter back and forth between the two, like a fun, playful kind of like rizzing each other kind of banter. And Evelyn ends up being invited by her best friend and Dorian's sister to come to this one mansion for an evening because her best friend is having trouble having like group bonding at her workplace. So she decides to like bring everyone from her work together to make like a murder mystery type night at this big mansion place. And she invites Dorian and Evelyn to come along because she wants like some help being a buffer there. And when they arrive, Evelyn has been down on her luck a little bit lately, especially in relationships and such. And Dorian is like, hey, listen, I can give you a great time. Because you want to know why? He's a pleasure dom. And they just end up having a really fun night together at this Clue-style mansion. And they kind of forget about all of the murder mystery games and just kind of get wrapped up in each other. But, you know, I don't care about the Clue mystery game. I care about what they're up to. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need to know. Super good, super hot, and again, super quick. So you want another quick one? Here you go. Let's get into a thick boy. Let's say you're truly wanting a slow burn. A slow burn. You want some psychological games going on before they ever reach anything the point physically. And I talk about this duet all the time because I love it with my whole heart and soul. I'm going to always talk about it. And that is The Cat and Mouse Duet by H.G. Carlton. So you start with Haunting Adeline. Book 2 is Haunting Adeline. That is my favorite of the 2. However, you do have to read Haunting Adeline first because they follow the same couple and it's like in a strict timeline. So this one follows Adeline and Zaid. So Addie, she ends up inheriting this house from her grandmother when she passes away. And it's like in the middle of the woods. It's a little bit spooky. There's some like creaking going on, you know, and her mother is really against her moving into this house. But she's like, no, I love it out here. Addie's a writer. And she's like, this is going to be a great place for me to really like hunker down and get some good writing in. And she starts noticing when she's there that there's a man watching her from her window. Yep, and that happens to be Zaid. And Zaid spotted Addie first at a book signing at a bookstore in town, whatever, and he instantly became obsessed with her and knew he needed to know more. So he starts watching her, and he starts stalking her, and he starts leaving her roses in the house. He starts breaking in and just like leaving like was it like a whiskey tumbler or something around? He just starts doing little things to mess with her, and it truly is a slow burn. Like this is a stalker romance where he really gets inside her head first before they actually like have any sort of interaction together. It's wild, but it's so worth that burn of it. And you know, even when he's just not deterred at all. Adeline puts in a new security system. Well, guess whose company owns the security company? That would be Zaid. So who can watch her now and disarm her security system? She wants to mess around with some random dude that she brings home to kind of like taunt him. Well, Zaid's gonna chop his hands off and put him on her porch. Like, it's so good. I love it. It's one of my favorite dark romances ever. I love Zaid and Addie, and yeah, I will just continue to talk about this series forever and always. But like I said, it's a thick book. It's very thick, and it's a slow burner. So you gotta trust the process with it. Okay, then we'll do the other novella, and then we'll get into the last book, which I think is probably, besides Haunting Adeline, the most popular one. So like probably a lot of you have read it already, but if you haven't, then it's gonna be another reminder too. But first up, this novella, Scream for Us by Molly Doyle. So this one is another Halloween romance, and it's a reverse harem, and it's like masked men. So this one follows Quinn, and so my memory on this one is a little hazier because also I think it's I think this might be like the shortest one on the list, and I read it the longest ago. I think I read it back when it like first released, but I wanted to include it anyways because I remembered really liking it, and I had it written down in my reading journal that I liked it, but like I said, my memory is a little hazy on it, but I'm pretty sure that Quinn goes to a Halloween party, and like she's in college or something. She goes to a Halloween party and she finds herself in a dangerous situation, and then this one man in a mask ends up like running up and helping her and like maybe like killing the guy who was harassing her or something, and then he and his other masked friends have a fun night with her. I think that's like the gist of it. I feel like with a lot of novellas you don't really even need to know a lot of the plot things because you get into them so quickly. So anyways, if you like masked men, once again, enjoy. And last but not least, more masked men, but my favorite masked men ever, Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. If you haven't read the Devil's Night series, you gotta read it in October especially. I mean, you should read it any month of the year, but October is obviously the perfect time to read it because it is Devil's Night month. And so Devil's Night in this story here is a night where in this one town, basically the four horsemen just go out and like wreak havoc around town, commit crimes, but like like they're not like murdering people, they're like disrupting property and such. And there is one night where something goes awry and three of the horsemen end up being arrested. And years later now, when we start this book, they are back out and they are ready to seek out revenge on the person that they think is responsible for sending them to prison, and that is Rika. And she has been involved with the horsemen for years. She knew them back in high school. She still knows them now. She's still in town, and she is dating the younger brother of the one horseman who didn't go to prison. So Michael has been able to keep an eye on Rika and kind of keep her on his radar and also the rest of the horsemen's radar from prison. And he is ready to help exact revenge on behalf of his friends. And also he hates his little brother. So of course he gets satisfaction in also stealing his little brother's girlfriend. Y'all know it's one of my all-time favorite series. Hideaway and Kill Switch are two of my god tier books. Like I absolutely love this series so much. I love the family aspect of it and here and like how close everyone is by the end of the series. It's just so good. It's so good. So much great character development in here too. Ugh. So anyways, I had to include it. I know it's super popular, but I don't care because it's popular for a reason, because it's amazing. So anyways, that is it for all of my spooky time romance book recommendations. And you can read these any time of year. You know, I think it's just like the vibe right now with it being Halloween time. You might want something a little spookier, but who knows? Come next April, you might want to be reading about masked men at a Halloween party, and that's good for you too. So anyways, that is it for today's video, and I will see you when I see ya.